Welcome dear students. In this lecture we are going to talk about the dehydration of the alcohols. Dear students, dehydration means removal of water H2O. And when we write down removal, it simply means that it will be an example of a beta elimination reaction. And if it is an example of beta elimination reaction, it simply means that the alcohol must possess beta hydrogen. An alcohol which has no beta hydrogen cannot be dehydrated, just like the simplest member of the alcohols, that is methanol. You can see that methanol has no beta carbon, so it will not be having any beta hydrogen. That is why the methanol cannot be dehydrated. Similarly, there is another example, that is basically neopentyl alcohol. And my dear students, in this neopentyl alcohol, OH is the functional group. The carbon to which this functional group is attached, that is the alpha carbon, and the carbon directly attached with this alpha carbon is the beta carbon. You can see that this beta carbon again is not having any hydrogen atom. So neopentyl alcohol, this alcohol cannot be dehydrated. Because dehydration is an example of beta elimination reaction, so any alcohol that has beta hydrogen can be dehydrated, and an alcohol which has no beta hydrogen cannot be dehydrated. Now, my dear students, the dehydration of alcohol, that will require some conditions, and usually concentrated H2SO4 or concentrated phosphoric acid can be used. Similarly, a very strong dehydrating agent, that is phosphorus pentoxide, it can also be used, and Al2O3 alumina can be used, but there should be heated Al2O3 and the temperature should be 400 degrees Celsius. So these are the different dehydrating agents that can be implemented, that can be used for the dehydration of the alcohols. Now let us see first of all the general reaction. This one is an alcohol. It has alpha carbon. This one is the beta carbon. When you will treat this alcohol with H2SO4 and you will heat it, then the alpha carbon will remove OH group and the beta carbon will give H group. Both H and OH, they will join to form water, and as alpha and beta carbon both have lost one group, so in order to complete their four bonds, they will form double bond with each other and you will get an alkene. So basically, when the alcohols they are dehydrated, the product obtained, that is an alkene. Now let us see a very simple example in which the second simplest alcohol, that is the ethanol, it is treated with concentrated H2SO4 and it is heated. Again the alpha carbon that will give OH negative and the beta carbon will give H positive. water molecule will be eliminated, and double bond will be formed between alpha and beta carbon, and my dear students, you will get an alkene, and specifically in this case the alkene will be ethene. Let us talk about the mechanism of this dehydration of the alcohols. My dear students, acid is the catalyst. So in the first step, suppose that we have this ethanol. You know that alcohols are amphoteric in nature. So because of the lone pairs on the oxygen, this alcohol will act as a base, and it will accept proton from acid. As a result, you will get SO4H negative, that will be the conjugate base, and this alcohol that will be protonated, and you will get oxonium ion. Oxonium is the cation in which oxygen carries the positive charge. So after the protonation of this ethanol, you will get the oxonium ion. Now, my dear students, in the next step, this oxonium ion that will lose water, H2O, this one will be released in the form of the H2O, and this carbon will get positive charge. So you will obtain a carbocation, or you can say that is the carbonium ion. Now in the last step, the beta hydrogen of this carbonium ion that will be attacked by the conjugate base which was produced in the first step. So when this beta hydrogen will be attacked, it will shift its bond between alpha and beta carbon. The catalyst will be regenerated, which was used in the first step, and finally you will get the product, and that is basically ethene. So the first step is the protonation of the alcohol. The second step is the dehydration step and the formation of the carbocation. And my dear students, in the last step, the catalyst is regenerated, which was used in the first step. Now, my dear students, different alcohols, obviously, the easiness of the dehydration that will be different in case of the different alcohols. The easiest to dehydrate are the tertiary alcohols, then secondary alcohols, and then primary alcohols. My dear students, the reason is this carbocation and its stability, because you know the tertiary carbocations are most stable, so that's why to convert a tertiary alcohol into its carbocation, that will be much easier. Therefore, the tertiary alcohols, because of the very high stability of the tertiary carbocation, they are very easy to dehydrate. Then the secondary alcohols, they are difficult to dehydrate as compared to the tertiary alcohols due to lesser stability of the secondary carbocation, and the most difficult to dehydrate are the primary alcohols. Reason is that their carbocation is least stable. That is why when we use H2SO4 as the dehydrating agent in different alcohols, in case of the primary alcohols, we need almost 170 to 180 degrees Celsius temperature. In case of secondary alcohols, usually the temperature which is required, it ranges from 100 to 140 degrees C. And in case of the tertiary alcohols which are easily dehydrated, the least temperature 25 to 80 degrees Celsius, depending upon the structure of the alcohol that will be required. So in case of tertiary alcohol, least temperature is required due to its easiness of the dehydration. In case of primary alcohol, maximum temperature will be required due to its very difficult dehydration, which in turn is due to the least stability of the primary carbocation. Now, my dear students, there is a special case that if we have an alcohol in which there are two types of the beta hydrogens or more than one type of the beta hydrogen, then what will happen? Just like we will take an example of that is 2-butanol. In this 2-butanol, my dear students, OH is the functional group. Here is the alpha carbon, and the two carbons which are directly attached to this alpha carbon, they are the beta carbons. Now, in this case, both beta carbons are different with respect to their hydrogen content. This carbon has two hydrogens, and this beta carbon is having three hydrogen. When this secondary alcohol that will be subjected to concentrated H2SO4 and heat, then my dear students, there are two chances. The first chance is that alpha carbon gives OH, and this beta carbon, the terminal one, it donates H positive ion. Water is formed, and the product formed will be CH3, CH2, CH double bond CH2, and that will be 1 butene. And the second chance is that this alpha carbon gives OH negative and this beta carbon donates H positive to release water, and then the product formed that will be CH3, CH double bond CH, single bond CH3, and that will be 2-butene. So there will be two types of the alkenes that can be produced by the dehydration of the 2-butanol. My dear students, the experiments they reveal that 1-butene is just 20% of the total products and 2-butene is 80% of the total products. It means that when 2-butanol is dehydrated, 1-butene will be the minor product and 2-butene will be the major product. Why is it so? It is governed by a rule which is the Saytzeff rule. Saytzeff rule is applied here, and according to Saytzeff rule, that beta carbon will donate the hydrogen which already has lesser number of the hydrogen atoms. So in these two beta carbons, you can see that this beta carbon has 3 hydrogen atoms and this beta carbon has 2 hydrogen atoms. So Saytzeff rule says that beta carbon will donate H positive or will lose hydrogen that already has lesser number of hydrogen atom. So in this case, this beta hydrogen should lose the hydrogen. Sorry, this beta carbon should lose the hydrogen to form an alkene. And that is why the 2-butene, that is the major product in this case as compared to the 1-butene. And when the beta carbon with lesser number of hydrogen will lose hydrogen atom, you will get a more substituted alkene, an alkene with greater number of alkyl groups. You can see in this alkene, which is 1-butene, there is only one alkyl group which is attached to this double bonded carbon atoms. While in case of the 2-butene, there are two methyl groups which are attached to the double bonded carbon atoms. It means that this one 2-butene is a more substituted alkene as compared to the 1-butene. So Saytzeff rule says that when alcohol is dehydrated, which has different types of the beta carbon atoms, then hydrogen will be lost by that beta carbon which has lesser number of hydrogen atoms and a more substituted alkene will be formed. Now why this carbon only has the maximum chances to lose the hydrogen atoms, we will arrange a separate lecture for the Saytzeff rule in which I will explain in detail that why the beta carbon having lesser number of hydrogen atom loses the hydrogen. So this was all about the dehydration of the alcohols. And let me tell you one thing, that if it is a beta elimination reaction, it can follow both mechanisms, E1 and E2. In case of usually primary alcohols, E2 is followed. In case of the tertiary alcohols, E1 mechanism is followed. And if the secondary alcohol is there, then there are equal chances of the E1 and E2 to be followed. So it depends upon the structure of the alcohols whether the elimination will proceed through E1 mechanism or E2 mechanism. And I have already delivered a detailed lecture about the E1 and E2 reactions. The link will be given in the description of this video. You can watch that lecture. Till then, take care.